experience. Every beginning of the show is a roller coaster.
Yeah,
it's a roller coaster. You just hope and pray that it's actually going to start.
Are we live over there, JR?
The screen is frozen.
Screen's frozen.
Yeah, we'll be on shortly. We're good now? Yeah, we're good now. All right. Good morning, Geno. Good morning, advertising and marketing.
Good morning.
If you've made it this far, if you haven't exited out to go do whatever the hell else you do, thank you for sticking around, sticking with us through those technical difficulties. Is April Fools dead, Geno?
No,
are we done with it?
It happens every year, Jack. Every year, brands have to engage. Like, well, do they have to? I don't know, but they like to, and it's fun. I want to take a nicer approach to this.
I get what you're saying.
I want to be a little more positive about it. I know you're upset about it.
Yeah, I guess I am taking the pessimist view of it. We'll get into it in the 2-minute drill, world famous. Talking about some April Fools stunts, but it is, for what it's worth, it's one of those days. April Fools is kind of on the advertising news calendar.
Yeah.
It's one of those days. What else? What are other ones for you?
You can look at Valentine's Day. Brands like to do some fun stuff around that. Halloween, also another fun one. You got your Super Bowl. You got around Cannes. People will do activations. Those are probably the big ones, Jack.
Yeah. Halloween? Did you say Halloween?
Yeah, I said Halloween.
Okay, yeah.
Because then they can do some costume work, like putting up like their brand mascots in some way, shape, or form.
We'll save it for the 2-minute drill, but yeah, that's today, April Fools.
But everything we say today is all true. We're not going to mess with it.
I guess we're not really engaging.
No.
We're not really doing our own April Fools thing. I guess I'm a little bit too mature. It's also super competitive. It's one of the more competitive things.
If you can break through, though, it is a good moment. And we're going to talk with somebody today, the CMO of Crunch Fitness, who we believe has one of the better stunts, the better activations. It's fun.
And the last thing I'll say on this, I think that there's very low down. There's not a lot of downside.
No.
It's like it's kind of similar to like social media. If you're posting online, there's only upside. And if your work doesn't break through,
it doesn't break
it's
through.
Kind of maybe it's like maybe a waste of agency fees and time. But if it's something that didn't take a lot of time, I think it's a low risk situation, at least from like a PR standpoint, brand reputation side. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna get into the 2-minute drill, Geno. Marketing news, biggest topics of the day, as decided by us. Let's get into it. 2-minute drill.
2-minute drill. Here we go. Clock is running now. Okay, so this one is the YouTube Riz Party, Jack. We need to do some explanations here. What was the TikTok Riz Party?
Well, we all remember the TikTok Riz Party, of course. How could you forget? It was the kids. They were all jumping and dancing. They made a big hullabaloo about it, and then it was like an internet meme for probably the better part of 3 months. Yeah. I would say people were making jokes about it. These teenage kids just like dancing and having fun. It's just
and this was last year?
This was last year. I think it was pretty funny. But then this year we kind of have a follow-up situation. The younger kids here, but it's the YouTube Shorts Riz Party. If we could pull it up, I think that's probably best for people to be able to understand what we're talking about. But yeah, you just see these kids just losing their minds right now. And give us more information on the song playing.
Yeah, this is the Ellie. What's it called? SpongeBob?
Yeah.
SpongeBob Big Bob?
I got you. I actually saw this movie when it premiered with my nephews who are like 8, 9 years old, and good uncle. And
you're a good uncle.
SpongeBob movie, the newest SpongeBob movie, Ice Spice song.
It's Ice Spice.
It's Ice Spice for the soundtrack. They made the song, and now it's picking up steam with this dance that they made for it. It's the YouTube Shorts Riz Party, Geno.
Yeah, can we hear it? I want to point to this guy right here.
Yeah.
He is inverted. This is a move that I have never seen before.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
This is it.
3, 2. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Flail kid.
That guy is insane.
Flail kid.
So how do we put this in the marketing news? Is it just something that's going viral that we anticipate people are going to make memes about? Is it about YouTube Shorts versus TikTok?
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, I think it's one of those things. It's got that
it factor.
It factor. It's got that glisten, that shine of virality. I think it's already got millions and millions of views.
The inversion here is just insane move. I just want to put that back up.
That looks like a practiced move.
And I got a shout out to Joseph Levin, our buddy, sent this to me a couple weeks ago. Maybe when at first he's like, this dude is inverted.
YouTube Shorts Riz Party. Check it out. I think let's see brands jump in.
Yeah.
Whose CEO is going to be doing the SpongeBob dance inverted thing. We'll find out. Next topic. Hey, can't live with it, can't live without it. The KitKat heist. This is taking up a majority of my time.
A lot of Jack's time. They're doing a great job here. When was it? March 26th?
March 26th to 20. Last weekend.
Last weekend there was the heist. 12 tons of KitKat bars were confirmed stolen. A truck was stolen for those bars here, and I'll let you take it from there.
Well, and then the PR response. KitKat made the official statement announcing that I declared it to be a brand stunt. About 7 seconds before I said that, the Wall Street Journal quadruple confirmed that it was real. But I guess the story here, whether it's real or fake, we'll find out. Someone commented on one of my posts. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who it was. They said, "You'll know it's a brand stunt in a couple months when my posts are featured in the case study," and it says the internet went wild. But I guess that's probably the one we'll find out.
But there's a new advancement today.
Yep. Another KitKat, another official statement on top of the official statement, pretty much saying, announcing this new initiative that you can track your KitKats to see if it's one of the KitKats that was stolen.
So go buy KitKat at the store and see if it was a stolen one. It was kind of like flooded in.
So this again, I think it's still a brand stunt because they made it clear in their original statement that don't worry, we can track all of the KitKats with barcodes. They all have their each individual, which felt like a random weird thing to include. And now we know, and now it feels like this was all conjured up.
Yeah, and then you go to the link to track the code. It's got the new F1 bar in there as well. It's beautifully done here. We do know that VML has worked on KitKat in the past. That's an ad agency. We do know Burson also works on the brand as well.
So I think we may never get to the bottom of this.
We're going to get to the bottom.
I will never stop. I will never stop.
Alrighty, next up, we're good? That is March Chadness. It's got the ad community taken by storm on Instagram. Digital Chadvertising, known for 144,000 followers on Instagram alone, really commenting on the industry landscape through anonymous posts and people's feedback. He does this every single year. It is March Chadness here, and I want to just give a little update for everybody in case you're following it.
What is March Chadness?
It is a bracket, good question, Jack, where people on Instagram in the ad community or their community in general will vote on companies that they like, I guess. It's just a popularity contest broken into 4 categories: publisher, ad tech, agency, and platform here. And they go head to head through Instagram polls. Like I said, a lot of people are tuning in for it. In 2024, unemployed won.
Okay.
In 2025, we had the Trade Desk beat out Publicis.
Ooh, that's
and
a
it was a
little
neck and neck
foreshadowing.
it was a close matchup here for 24 hours. It was a 100-vote margin last year, and the Trade Desk beat out Publicis. That could be why Publicis has beef with the Trade Desk. Remember, for a couple weeks ago.
All right, so where are we at now? What's going on?
So today we're looking at the final 4 here. Kinesso, that's an agency, is squaring up against Media Ocean, which is an ad tech platform, in the final 4 here. And then in the other round, we got Spotify versus NBC Universal. Spotify is the platform. NBC Universal is the publisher in this roundup. So
Who you got?
I'm looking at Spotify. You can't hate Spotify here, but it's a different community. It's in that media, the paid search community, the media community. I don't know what that's all about, what they're liking, what they don't like, but I'm looking at Spotify. That's a good brand in my eyes. I got them.
Who are the other ones? Who are the other contenders?
You got Kinesso, which is an agency, versus Media Ocean, which is ad tech.
Okay.
So
interesting. We'll see what happens. I like Spotify. Spotify is like your blue blood. Spotify is like your Arizona, Michigan kind of.
I have word we might get onto the publisher bracket next year. Media. We will get destroyed.
Lobbying.
We're going to get destroyed if that's true. Next up here, 2-minute drill continues. April Fool's Day roundup here. Ad Age, they crush it again. They have a great roundup by our guy Tim Nutt and team at Ad Age here. There's a lot of different brand stunts. Jack, did you have anything? Because I have one thing I want to bring up from this list.
I'll let you bring up your thing.
Okay, so we saw stuff like we're looking at Babbel here, but I want to, Ross, if you can kindly scroll to Parting Stone. Parting Stone is a company for when you get cremated. Eventually, we all die. If you choose to get cremated, you can work with this company. It's a real company that will take your ashes and put it into stones.
Oh,
and that's what they do for a living. That's real. But they also created a quiz for April Fool's Day. What will your solidified remains look like as stones here? So there's a quiz here, and Jack, I went ahead and did it for myself and put in all my details, my eye color, so we can pull up my stone here. That is what my stones would look like. It's completely randomized. It's
like a garbanzo bean almost situation here. I think like a lentil.
It looks like lentils or quail eggs. And then, Jack, I also did it for you, knowing you. I didn't even have to ask you anything. Cups of coffee that you drank, all that stuff, and we could pull up Jack stones.
Well, this is my issue. Is I think that like if I died, you would be the one that would have to make these decisions on my behalf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you got a nice stone.
Mentos. Those are Mentos.
Those are Mentos. You put that. I'm gonna put that in a Diet Cola.
Diet Coke, shake it up. Yeah. That's what I want to do with my remains.
Yes.
I want to put them into these solidified Mentoses and then explode and then have a big YouTube video.
I like a quiz.
One last thing I'll say about this. Love a quiz. Tim Nudd, great point. He's had a great LinkedIn post. We can kind of just keep it rolling here.
Yeah. We can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want. But Tim Nudd makes a great point. Here's his LinkedIn post. Like, April Fools is very hard, and it's getting harder for brands to like stick out, especially when you almost expect on social every brand to be funny in some way. It is a crowded space on social. And then he also made a point about, I think maybe in his article, Tim saying the misinformation, with the rise of misinformation, it kind of makes April Fools, it kind of takes the fun out of it, because I think people are, it's not as cool anymore to deceive people?
Well, Dunkin' did a different approach where you actually just get a free coffee if you use code not a joke.
Oh,
so it's just like, here's
smart.
a free thing.
It's very self-aware of the moment.
So could be a response.
Yeah, but I guess the other thing I want to bring up, Crunch. This was going online. Rachel Carton, who is a incredible writer, Substack writer, for a Substack called Link in Bio. She talks about social trends, what's happening. I have the link of her tweet I would love to pull up. And yeah, here it is. But she's saying pretty much that brands are kind of, like, this is a great scenario where Crunch is wasting an amazing idea on an April Fool's prank. And the idea is if you have a Crunch dispenser for your popcorn at the movie theater.
That's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
I think there's been stunts like that where they test it out on social and then make it a real thing. Like, we heard what the internet wanted.
Yeah, when did this happen? This happened recently.
This is the pickle suit from KFC.
Maybe.
I think they made that real. Probably a limited time offer, but that is a strategy. Test it and make it happen.
That's a great point. I think I could see them actually doing this, and it would be a good move. I could see it being a good move.
That's April Fool's Roundup, and the 2-minute drill is over here, which leads us into our first interview. Jack, you want to do the intro?
Yeah, Tameka Bazile is stepping in to the Thunderdome. Tameka is a legend. She is B2B social legend. That's what I wrote down for myself here. But she is also day job associate director B2B social at Business Insider.
Nice.
I will say this about Tameka. I had the fortunate pleasure of sitting next to her as she spoke on a panel.
And I saw that panel.
And you saw that panel, and
she crushed it.
She crushed it. Maybe
you were good too. You were funny, but she had a lot of knowledge.
But I think it's a good time to bring her on to talk about B2B social, who's going to win, how brands are going to win. There's a lot of B2B social media content that still is probably not up to stuff. Additionally, she is an expert when it comes to legislation, education around social media. And now the timing with Meta and YouTube in that lawsuit that they lost when it comes to protecting children online, mental illness, and them being liable with it. There's never been a better time to bring on Tameka. Let's bring her in. Tameka, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. My favorite thing ever is walking into a room of men talking positively about me, so this was actually perfect. Thank you.
Tameka, every room you walk in, someone should be speaking positively, and if they aren't, I will be there.
Even before you walk into the room, Tameka.
I love it.
So, Tameka, how is everything going? You're associate director, B2B social, Business Insider. What does that job really mean? Like, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis for Business Insider?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like I don't get enough time to actually talk about what I do at work. Like, social media is just such a vast array of different types of jobs that tend to fall under the same title. But ultimately, I lead all visibility for our internal communications, right? So anything that allows us to be able to highlight and increase visibility for what we are working on at the company. So that can be anything from our BI events, which are live events that our team hosts. That could be anything that comes out of our studios team, branded content. How are we leveraging our branded content to be able to connect with other brands that might want to work with us in the long run? How do we make our events something that folks will want to share on social so that other brands will want to participate and sponsor our events? And then, of course, how do I leverage what our newsroom is doing so that we can create more avenues for monetization? So, as you know, that is always the goal, right? Is how do we increase our baseline? And so, yeah, so as someone who oversees B2B social and content, my role is increase our opportunities for monetization by increasing our visibility overall.
The follow-up question I have to that,
Yeah.
I imagine this feels like an issue that would happen within someone who's running a brand page or like a B2B page, is trying not to have their content come off as too promotionally, because obviously if you're scrolling and you're talking about a company, talking about themselves that did something cool, it's a little bit harder to gain that like authentic voice. So how do you combat that? How do you make it so that you're posting great content and speaking positively and growing opportunities for Business Insider without it coming off as too promotionally?
Yeah, that's a great question. And something I often focus on, like in my content as a creator, but overall in the B2B space, is really finding that like perfect voice, right? I think a lot of brands are just coming off of their high horse around like just sounding very corporate, structured, like absolutely professional, because branded content was always about like brand safety. And there is a way to be brand safe without sounding, for lack of a better words, like too stush, which is like a Caribbean term for like sounding like you have a stick up your ass, right? So, and I think for a lot of B2B creators and just social media managers overall, that is the first frontier, is getting the brand to like unclench, so that we can create some sort of relatability through that B2B content. I actually have a resource that I just put out. It just launched yesterday in collaboration with HubSpot, that highlights the 5 brand voice archetypes, from corporate to fully unhinged. But it helps social media managers identify, okay, how can I create a good argument for how our brand voice needs to shift? Not necessarily over to the unhinged side, but all of the different stop points as to where your brand voice could land, so that you can become more relatable over time, and represent the brand in a way that creates community and allows you to find success. So ultimately, I really think that has to be the largest gap, is the fact that it feels unrelatable and unobtainable because it's actually way too like corporate professional.
Yeah, it is a classic piece of advice to like find your authentic voice. But it can be much harder when you're speaking on behalf of a larger organization versus coming from yourself. Where can people find the 5 archetypes?
That is such a great question. So they can find it on my LinkedIn. I'll shoot you the link so that
Thank
if they
you.
ask you for it, you can send it over to them as well. But yeah, like it was just such the perfect opportunity to really help social media managers. Like I think sometimes in the social space, we feel like success only happens if you go all the way to the unhinged side. Like that is the only way for you to be able to create connection. But as someone in the B2B space, I don't think so. I think just finding your middle ground of humanization and understanding like what sort of community you're trying to appeal to is the perfect way to make strategic decisions that outlast even you as the social media manager, so that brands don't sound like incredibly different from social media manager to social media manager. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of social media managers over time.
So just stepping back a little bit, just understanding your knowledge and what you know about this space, what are the examples that you find are good at B2B marketing?
Besides Business Insider.
But I mean, yeah, of course, and that's not because I'm biased or anything. But yeah, I think that there are quite a few different brands that do this really well. Some of my favorites are actually Plot, I think that they have a really great like B2B presence overall. Creator Match has an incredible like B2B presence. And even as I say these brands, there's going to be some patterns that show up with them that I'd love for us to talk about. But I think overall, like the best brands that are showing up in the B2B space, they are decentralizing their visibility, right? So it's not just the brand page that exists and like a single social media manager behind it. They're doing things slightly different so that it's not just one person representing the brand, but it is the people who are building the brand who are representing it. And I ultimately think that that is what they do really well.
What does that look like? Decentralizing it, like what does that look like in action? Can you give me some examples specifically?
Yeah, I love this question. Okay, so I would have to say that a big part of just social media overall and social media management over the last like 10, 15 years has been one singular social media manager or a team behind one singular brand account, right? So ultimately creating the dynamic where the user has to trust the brand or create some sort of loyalty to the brand or ultimately have a connection to your logo in order to digest your content. And over time, because of the rise of content creators, social media has been diversified through like, you can have thought leadership, you can have lifestyle content, you can have career content, and it's all coming from individual people with individual knowledge. So brands have dropped on the totem pole of importance, as they should, right? Like this playground wasn't created for brands. It wasn't created for brands to come and sell and get you to buy things. So I think we're right on time for brands to start the shift from one singular brand presence with a social team or a social media manager behind it to who are the people building the brand, who are the employees actually doing the work, and how do we get them to talk about the work that they're doing, why they believe in this brand, why they're connected to it, and create just more authentic connection with users over time. I call that decentralizing your brand presence.
I like that.
And ultimately it is creating an avenue where your brand can show up in multiple areas from the people who are actually doing the work to build it. And I think this works twofold, right? Like as somebody who's also doing this for Business Insider, so keep an eye on us as well.
Of course.
I think it's important because it also allows the people behind the brand to be able to highlight the work that they're doing. And I think that's equally as important, right? Like we are no longer in a resume economy where you can rely on your resume to get you a job or get you opportunities. And being able to work in this way, it doesn't only support the brand, it also helps you highlight the work that you're doing so that you transcend a resume. So it's a win-win.
It is reminiscent. I feel like, you see some B2B like tactics come off the heels of tactics that have already worked for consumer or maybe the playground that social media was built for. I think about for me, this is gonna be a bias, just like my POV, but like ESPN or like a bigger media company like sports media, they have all of their different reporters and people that work at ESPN posting about what's going on as opposed to just having all the content coming from one account. So like that's an example, but there's a million different examples where you have these personal figures that are attached to a brand that people associate with the brand, that the brand is saying, let these people's individual accounts drive traffic. And I think that what you're saying, Tameka, makes a ton of sense, especially on LinkedIn, where if you're B2B, you're like, you get your people to talk about what's going on, and all of a sudden, your surface area is just massive. And it's not just coming from a brand account, and it feels more human as opposed to like people pumping it up from a brand account.
Like people want to hear from the engineer who is creating the product, right? People want to hear from the CMO who is leading a team. Like it's becoming a dynamic where it's like, why should I like your brand? And why should I trust your brand and not necessarily just trusting your product? Because we are just overall in a consumer space where people are inundated with ads and selling and products, and there is a shit ton of things out there. Sorry, I curse a lot.
You're good. Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, so I think overall that creates an analysis paralysis. So you have to find different ways to create connection. When there is a lot of opportunity, you're ultimately going to end up in a situation where the consumer just doesn't choose anymore, or they just revert back to what they know, instead of being able to make more informed decisions around other elements of their emotional capacity. And I think that that's what's happening here.
I love it. Decentralize the brand account and communications coming from the brand. Before we let you go, Tameka, I want to get your perspective as someone who's very familiar, well educated in this world, with the recent lawsuit. Meta and YouTube found liable for damages to a youth, a minor, for this minor's consumption on the social platforms, leading to distress, damages emotionally. I want to hear when you saw that news, your reaction to it. Are you surprised by it? And what do you think does this mean for social platforms moving forward?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I'm not surprised by it at all. Like, they deserve that shit. Like, they absolutely do. And Mark could come see me about it. But I think ultimately what we are experiencing is a renaissance in social media. Like, realistically, and we talked a little bit about this on the panel that we were on together, where I was like, I'm a younger millennial, and growing up, there was an introduction, like we were coming up in a time where like it was AOL dial-up, and like I'm like aging myself right now. Like my parents couldn't use the phone while I was on the internet, and that came with in-school computer classes, right? Where they were teaching us how to type, they were teaching us how to save things on a floppy disk. Have you ever seen a floppy disk?
Yes. I'm fortunate enough. I'm the youngest in my family, so I had exposure to this. Yes.
Down knowledge.
Right.
That's a Floppy Bird?
Floppy Bird. That's Geno loved
Floppy Bird. I still have it on my phone.
Flappy Bird.
Oh yeah, and I think ultimately we have moved way too far away from creating opportunities for education in the computer and internet space. Now, ultimately, computer science is a major that you take on in college, but there is a lack of understanding, especially for inner city kids, around internet safety, social media safety, and just overall digital advocacy overall. And I think that is creating a gap. And ultimately, the gap that it creates is one that's able to be exploited by social media platforms. Algorithms exist to keep us on the platform. And so they show us content that alters our brains into ultimately thinking like, this is a dopamine hit. This is a dopamine hit. This is a dopamine hit. And when people think about dopamine, they think about it in the sense of like a feel-good hormone. But it's anything that spikes your interest or peak. It doesn't have to be something inherently good. And so anything that, and this is something that I talk about a lot, right? Like, I feel like I'm product dropping, but I also wear an Oura Ring. And my Oura Ring qualifies anything that increases my heart rate as stress, which is a good idea, right? Because whether I'm excited or whether I'm angry and I'm raging out, that increases my heart rate, and my body is under stress. And so for kids, and for this newest Meta and YouTube lawsuit, they are reaping the repercussions of how they are ultimately leveraging that stress, leveraging that dopamine hit, in order to keep people active and on the platform and increase their profitability in the long run. They don't create systems to keep children safe on platforms. They do the bare minimum, when in reality, there's so much more that they could do, that requires very low lift on their part in order to keep children safe. But children are one of the predominant products on that platform, that allow them to leverage and monetize. And so without children, they lose a large percentage of their user base that makes very quick and fast acting decisions, whether they're buying on the platform or whether they're consuming content for hours straight. And they don't want to do that.
Interesting.
So ultimately, this lawsuit was a long time coming. And we're going to see a lot more of what we see in Australia, where Australia recently law where anyone under 16 can't use social media at all. I think that a lot of countries are going to start doing something similar, where they are starting to create infrastructure for how we can keep our children safe, because children are overexposed. Like, we live in an overexposure.
So does it land on the like government? Do you think I mean, I think at this point we can't really expect the social platforms to do anything unless they're required legally to do something. So do you think that's where it ultimately will fall? It'll be decided in the courts, it'll be decided in legislation?
I absolutely think that it is the responsibility of the governments to be able to create stopgaps for social media platforms and for tech companies. As someone who lives in a country right now where the Board of Education is actively being defunded, I think that we are going to start to see the long-term impacts of that over time. And one of them is going to be a stark decrease in how students manage their mental health, but also their decision-making skills, their ability for conflict resolution is going to go down the window. The kids can't read. That's something
right.
we're already seeing, and all of that. And it's crazy that I'm saying this because I am a young millennial, but it's them damn phones. It is.
Yeah, it's the damn phones. It's the damn phones. It
damn
really
phones.
is. Well, this has been fantastic. I feel like I've learned a ton, and really excited. We'll have to have you back on, Tameka, as more things unfold within the social media platform landscape. But appreciate all the insights. Tameka Bazile, a legend. Go check her out.
Thank you.
The 5 archetypes. Go to Tameka's LinkedIn if you're a B2B social media manager, strategist, whatever.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Tameka.
Thank you.
Oh, great stuff.
We got Chad next.
We got Chad next. We're excited about this one.
Chad is the CMO of Crunch Fitness, ladies and gentlemen. And just this morning, it came out that Crunch has created a vape, ladies and gentlemen, that if you puff it, it supposedly gets you 35 grams of protein. The fitness company making a vape. Of course, this is a April Fool's Day prank.
How did you feel when you saw it? Because you're, I mean, listen.
Best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Yeah, best of both worlds is that.
I mean, I'm Gen Z. The Gen Z didn't have a choice with the vaping stuff, like in college and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the protein craze is it's just 2 things going on right now, all in one product, and Crunch is at the center of it. I can't wait to unfold.
We're going to talk about it. Let's bring him in. Chad Waetzig, CMO of Crunch Fitness. Chad, welcome to the
Look
show.
at him. Look at.
Oh, is that vape? Can we get one more? Can we get one more vape? The audience might have missed it. Oh,
That's protein in there.
I just got 70 grams of protein just with those 2.
That would work on me. Chad, that absolutely would work on me if that was available.
Chad, I think that was our first cloud that's been blown on the Breaking and Entering show. So thank you for that first.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Glad to be here. Glad to be on.
Well,
maybe in your words, what launched today? To give the people from the actual expert, the person that approved this, what launched today from Crunch?
So today we launched Crunch Muscle Mist. It is a very small, compact way to get your protein fix. You don't have to worry about bars. You don't have to worry about powders. It's a highly refined way protein isolate in a very compact, easy to use vape delivery system. We're really proud of the product. Our members clearly have been on the forefront of the strength training boom for years now, and we just were looking for another way to help them make sure that they were getting their proper protein intake. And the other thing I would add is with the prevalence of GLP-1s, it's really important that you do have a significant increase in your protein intake.
It's true.
As you're dropping weight. And so, again, we just thought this would be the perfect time to launch.
Perfect time to launch.
Perfect time on April 1st here.
On April 1st, just another. It's the turn of the quarter. It's the second quarter, Chad.
Yes.
If it makes sense.
Let's back things up here.
Yeah,
So I know you guys work with Familiar Creatures on it. That's a Richmond-based independent agency. You guys have been working with them, and they're fantastic. Justin was on the show not too long ago. But really, when you got pitched this idea, or even before that, what was the brief to Familiar Creatures? Was it to get attention for April Fool's Day? What did you have in mind?
Yeah, we've been working with Familiar Creatures now for a number of years, and they've been great partners of ours. And we actually started our April Fool's stunts back in 2022 when we launched the Cruncher app, which was a dating app that allows you to find your next great friend or next great lover in the Crunch gym.
Yeah, that's
we might have to simmer on that for a
dream of mine.
That is Geno's
That is
dream.
like my dream.
And it was great. We got a lot of, how dare you do that? I come to the gym to not be hit on, and others were like, this is the best thing ever. How do I sign up? And so we figured we had hit something, right? And look, we'd love this to be as memorable as the John Lewis UK Christmas ads every year that everybody's waiting for. We're probably not going to get there, but think about that as the brief to familiar creatures, right?
Love that brief.
How do we absolutely just make April Fools a memorable time for the Crunch family, for our members, for our followers, and really just lean into something that is intended to be fun, but also like maybe it's real. And so, you know, they're a great source of creative ideas for us, and this was the one this year that we absolutely just fell in love with.
I do too, and I think we'll get into this execution here. But why is this the brief to be the John Lewis of April Fool's Day? How does this kind of like funny, pranky tone fit into the Crunch Fitness general brand?
Yeah, so if you go back to our history, we were founded in 1989 here in New York City, down in the Village, and you know we were an alternative to the more traditional forms of fitness. And you know, our mission has always been to make serious fitness fun. And so fun has just been built into our DNA for 37 years. And in fact, you know, the early days of Crunch were a little wild and a little crazy, long before my time. But to listen to some of the folks that have been around since almost the beginning, you know, there might have been a lot of haze back in the early 90s with Crunch. And in fact, we don't even know the day that the first Crunch opened. Like nobody remembers the actual date. So we picked April Fools as our anniversary date. So this is actually Crunch's anniversary date. It's important to us, and it's important that we just live the brand positioning every day. And April Fools is just another way to have fun with fitness and the brand and our members.
Love it.
You know, Chad, I have to be honest with you. When we started the show, I was a little bit like, you know, are people, is there too much April Fool's shenanigans happening? Are there too many brands? Is it becoming too big of a thing where when everyone's doing something, nobody's doing something? But I like what you said, where you're saying, how can you make it a memorable moment for the Crunch family? So how do you break through for the people that are going to the gym, that are in your community? And I think that, to me, feels different.
And it's embedded into the brand itself.
Right.
Like they have this fun approach. So it's not like just like, oh, we have to do it. What's our April Fool's stunt as a B2B company? Like, what are we going to do randomly? So it's embedded.
Well, that's and the last thing I'll say too, and I'll, Chad, get your reaction to just broadly the April Fool's phenomenon within marketing. But it reminds me similarly of what he's saying with Cruncher with the dating app. It's for people that go to Crunch. It's for the community. It's for those people, whether you love it or hate it. But Chad, just thoughts there around how, you know, this has become now like just a day in advertising that everyone kind of looks towards, and there's a lot of attention on it.
You know, so I hear the point, Jack, about, yeah, gosh, are there too many brands doing it? And I do think that there is, certainly for Crunch, an authenticity to what we do, right? Because it is this idea of having fun. When you walk into our gyms, we have motivational sayings on the wall that are a little bit offbeat and a little bit fun. We call them Crunchisms. It's not your traditional motivational saying. So like we feel like this is authentic to who we are. But that all being said, just from a fan of advertising, I love April 1st. It allows brands and agencies to be creative in ways that you really maybe can't do on a day-to-day basis, right? So it allows you maybe to step out of your comfort zone, do something fun. I do think consumers pay attention to it now. Are we going to sell another membership today because of the muscle mist? Maybe. I'd like to, but at the end of the day, it really is about our community, our members, and giving them something that they can, you know, with a wink and a nod, laugh at as well. So I don't know. I love the creativity. In fact, I'll give a shout out to our friends at Noble. They actually launched. You know, there is a big protein craze, right? And so Noble, this great fitness apparel brand, actually launched their own line of supplements and protein powders. In reality, they really launched these a while back. And today they launched 3 new flavors, right? They're based up in New England, and they launched Boston baked beans, lobster flavored protein, and clam chowder flavored protein. And so I thought that was really clever,
Yeah.
and appreciate that they're leaning into it as well.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
I mean, he's a fan of advertising.
He's
When
a
he
fan of
said
the
the
game?
brief was make April Fools for Crunch Fitness like the John Lewis ad every year.
I don't know if a lot of
we're talking.
love of the game.
This is great.
I want to bring up, because Chad, you mentioned the Crunch Fitness gyms. I am actually a member of Crunch Fitness.
Oh.
When I lived in San Francisco, I went to a Crunch Fitness. I want to know if you're familiar with the San Francisco Crunch Fitness gym on Polk Street that is inside of an old theater. Chad, does this ring any bells for you?
I know it well.
Okay.
The Alhambra location on Polk Street is maybe my favorite Crunch location in the entire. We've got 560 gyms. It is maybe my favorite. It is an old theater. I think it both served as a live performing venue and a movie theater. I think it fell on hard times. I don't know the exact history. It was certainly before my time when we took over that location, but it is a special gym, and love the fact that you've worked out there.
Yeah, I have. I wanted the people to see it. The audience will be able to see it right now. But yeah,
They play
look
movies,
at this.
right? Like while you're working out.
Yes, so they play movies on the big screen while you're working out.
That's
I've watched.
so sick.
So I would like be on the elliptical watching Jaws.
Oh, that's
like, on
scary.
the biggest.
That makes you go faster.
It makes you go faster. You hear the
you're getting chased.
But it's one of the most incredible
It goes
fitness
viral.
experiences. Honestly, like, I don't know. It's one of those things. Are people taking the as many videos inside the gym?
Yeah, you got it.
You gotta be respectful. But
I'm by the one at Cooper Union here in Manhattan.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, no, but it is. It's fascinating. So, Geno, go ahead.
I got to get to the tactic here, just like kind of closing the loop on the
Yeah.
execution this year. Is there a target audience that you're trying to hit? Is it Gen Z that you want to be like, haha, this is funny? Like, they get me, maybe I will check this out on my college campus or when I go back home for the summer. Like, is there a target audience in mind, or is just the larger comedy approach?
Yeah, so our core target is a group we call Young, Strong, and Social. So these are adults 18 to 39 that have health, wellness, and fitness as part of their lifestyle, or at least desire to have it be part of their lifestyle. They make up about just a little under 2/3 of our member base, and so we're really speaking to them. We're not speaking to old guys like me, although if the Gen Xers out there like it, then that's great as well. And in terms of the execution, we certainly did social. So we've got a short, I think it's 15-20 second video on social. We did promote it we have a digital newsletter called Gym. It's an email newsletter called Gym Shorts. We did a special edition today where we pushed it out in Gym Shorts.
It's pretty good.
And if you click the link to buy, it takes you to a landing page on crunch.com.
Oh, Ross loves this.
And if you actually click to buy, it takes you to YouTube where you can
You got
Yeah,
rickrolled.
the people, the audience is able to see. They just got rickrolled. The Rickroll, I feel like
that's a
hasn't
throwback.
been. It's a throwback.
That's good stuff.
It always hits. Always
Yeah.
hits.
So shout out to Familiar Creatures for the concept. Shout out to our creative in-house team led by Luis Vega, and shout out to our social team led by Aminta Irarte. They just did a fantastic job of kind of pulling this whole thing together. Sam who shot the spot, and Danny who was our actor. We had a lot of fun with it, and I really appreciate all that they did to bring this to life.
That's what it's all about. And shout out to Rick Astley.
And shout out to Rick Astley. I couldn't have done it without Rick. And I'm old enough to remember when that song was a hit originally. So it's always nice to see that come back.
Of course. Well, Chad, it's been a pleasure as
so
always. Thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, go check out the protein vapes and go get yourself to a Crunch Fitness. And if you're in San Francisco, the Crunch Fitness on Polk Street is the hottest club in San Francisco. I can tell you that. Thank you so much, Chad.
Thanks, Geno. Thanks, Jack. Really appreciate it.
Oh, Chad Waetzig.
He's good.
He's
good.
A great.
That's a CMO I would want to work with.
100%. And
That's
for
who I would want to work with.
For someone who knows as much about advertising, I guess maybe I'm not giving CMOs enough credit, but I feel like you could find a corporate CMO that maybe isn't familiar with the John Lewis, the craze around the John Lewis Christmas ads? That was a deep pull.
Listen, he knows his stuff. He's creative oriented. We know it for a fact now. And let's bring in our next guest. So
let's give the people a little intro
that.
into what the next thing is.
Yeah. So Dove and Ogilvy are back at it again. Little history lesson for you all. This is a 72-year-long relationship, give or take a year or two.
Right.
Ogilvy and Dove have been working together since 1957, when David Ogilvy repositioned the Dove soap bar as a beauty bar.
Sorry?
Beauty bar. The soap bar to a beauty bar. Okay, and then in 2004,
good name for a club.
They created the Real Beauty campaign, which has been
2004.
going on since then. And then after that, we saw Real Beauty sketches in 2013. In the 2020s, we saw Coverage is Beautiful, where you saw the nurse take off the mask in the pandemic, and it would show the mask marks, but like that was beautiful. And then in 2023, they did a turn your back to the filters on Snapchat and these platforms. There's so many filters to beautify yourself. Well, Dove and Ogilvy said turn your back to it, so people would take these photos of their back. And today we have the next era where they're attacking the algorithm. Something just launched today, and we've got the two ACDs that are going to be joining us today. Any questions on the history lesson?
That was a great history lesson. I want to ask you before we bring them in. I don't want you to be swayed by them being here. Is Dove Real Beauty the best brand platform of the 21st century?
Yes.
Boom! Here we go. Bring them in. Claire Golladay and Olivia Simone, the ACDs at Ogilvy. They worked on the new era of Dove Real Beauty. It launched today. We saw it last night, but it launched today. And it's a pleasure to have you both. How are you both doing?
Hi.
Hi.
We're great.
Yeah, it's finally sunny here, so we got to bike to work. So that's always a good start to the day.
Biking to work.
A beautiful
It's good for
start to the day.
creativity.
It's great for creativity,
So,
Geno.
so in your words, what dropped, what did Dove launch help made by Ogilvy?
Yeah, well, you guys gave us a perfect intro. This is kind of an extension of Dove's Real Beauty campaign. This is the new chapter of beauty. And as we were looking at the enemy of Real Beauty, we're looking at technology and how, as technology has evolved, our enemy has changed. And on the brink of a new era, it's the algorithm. And the algorithm that you're seeing on social is erasing our individuality.
Yeah, so what we did is we wanted to translate the algorithm, which is this machine that's pushing the sea of sameness on our feeds. It's percolating into real life. And we wanted to make that intangible thing tangible. So what we did is we made a Real Beauty machine that dropped in Waterloo Station in London, which is the second busiest station in the UK. And it was full of these masks that were representing how the algorithm is pushing us into the sea of sameness and beauty homogeneity. And it was full of 16 masks that were identical except for skin color, really showing how the algorithm is like just this one ideal of beauty on us. It's in our feeds, and now it's moving into real life. Real people and experience the algorithm in real life, kind of devoid of the screen, how we're usually interacting with it.
Want to do a recap check? Any questions on that?
Yeah, I got a few questions I'm gonna lay down. No, I want to ask about the idea of bringing it to life. About for something that is digitally native, the concept itself is digitally native. The importance of having a human and real life element. Do you think that is essential? That is like part of the insight, or kind of the thoughts there to bring it to people in real life?
No, you're exactly right. Exactly. So the algorithm is a really hard thing to see. And a lot of times it's visualized just with like an endless scroll. And for us, we wanted to bring it somewhere that would force people in real life to be confronted with it, and you wouldn't be able to miss it. So our metaphorical machine, the beauty machine, is the machine of the algorithm. And it also gives us something that we could push back against as Dove. So what you would see if you were there in Waterloo Station is not just this vending machine that shows, the sort of consumerism of beauty, but behind it, we had this billboard that's disagreeing openly with the machine, because Dove believes that it's our differences that make us beautiful. And like from there, we could get to this a little later, but we launched the Open Call, which is the new chapter of beauty, and it's an action that people can take to push back against the algorithm.
Yeah, and I think it is really important to take something out of the digital space and into real life when we're really wanting people to interact and confront it, because I think we're all used to passive doom scrolling where you are kind of seeing the same thing over and over again, but you're not necessarily taking it in. And so bringing it to be something tangible that people can really interact with almost amplifies that sea of sameness into something physical, because when you're seeing something digital, you're not really as attuned to it because it feels like, oh, this is just an endless scroll of sameness, but you're not really necessarily taking it in. And so we felt like it was important to have people be confronted with that in a real space so that they can really take in the message and see what our algorithm looks like IRL.
And it's shocking. I'm like, if I would have seen that, like, what are these faces doing? Like, it would have caught my attention. Absolutely.
The visual hook.
The visual hook is fantastic.
I completely agree. I was going to bring that up. It's a situation like when I saw this, I didn't realize how true the statement that you were making was until I think back on all the things that I've watched, or if you go into your Explore page on Instagram. I think the Explore page on Instagram is the biggest culprit of something like this. Like, you just see a grid. You see a grid of just the same kind of thing, but just a little variation, slightly different. Yeah. And especially now, there's so many, I don't think people realize how many AI accounts exist that are legitimately just fake people and have hundreds of thousands of followers.
That, and then the growing looks maxing trend, I feel of constantly trying to make yourself look better to the extent that people are bone smashing their jaws.
So the follow-up on that, all these societal issues, I always am curious to hear the take from the creatives or the brand when it comes to like Dove has kind of established themselves as the antidote to these societal
they're not going to take it.
negatives. They're not going to take it. So do you feel that responsibility? Does it add a weight of pressure when you're working on something like this where it's bigger than just a brand campaign?
100%. And you know what? I think that's why we felt that Lauren Greenfield, the director that we worked with on this, could actually be a really great person, because she brought that point of view. She could help us sort of tell this story in a meaningful way, because her expertise is on empowering women. She's been documenting real beauty and women in culture and the portrayal of women for decades, really. So, so it's a complex story to tell, and it's good to do it with someone who has been doing that for a while.
Yeah, and I think as women who interact with digital spaces a lot, and we're fed the same kind of beauty sea of sameness that we're going up against, that's our enemy here, it feels like we have a big responsibility to make sure that our message is getting across, because there's so many stats about how the algorithm is affecting especially young women, but women across all demographics. And in that, for one, in the UK, 1 out of 2 women feel like they should change their beauty if they're shown an image that's perfect. And that's a really it has a lot of gravity to it. And even if they know the image is fake, they still feel inclined to change their beauty. And that's something that we really want to push up against, because it feels like as partners with the brand, we're also responsible for making sure that we're carrying the message of promoting self-esteem and celebrating individual beauty over a sea of sameness.
And it's never about shaming at all. It's about empowering. So
right. Yes, that is a good. I feel like, I don't know, Dove, you do a great job of making it. No one's feeling shameful.
I want to know what it was like in the concepting sessions of this, whether when the idea hit from being brief to this coming together, any fun moments of this was the aha moment where the team was we have to sell this idea.
Yeah, so Ogilvy actually reached out to the global network, and so there were hundreds and hundreds of ideas.
Open brief.
Yes.
An open brief. Everybody loves one.
Oh my gosh.
At this point, there was a main deck that was over 2,000 slides or something, so we really turned over every stone. And then it became something it is complicated and hard to think of and hard to visualize. And so then when we came to the vending machine idea, it felt like a perfect translation of the digital space into something that people could really see, hold, understand, interact with. And so it felt like that idea most clearly brought our message across.
It was an open brief, so that I don't know, I can't speak for Ogilvy, but when I was at an ad agency, anybody can submit an idea. So the account people, like anybody with the Outlook account could submit ideas into it. So you get everybody. Ogilvy, yeah. You got the account people saying, "Oh, I can come up with that."
Oh, here we go. Yeah,
like, let me try it. Let me try it. But
everyone's a creative. Yeah, everyone's got an idea.
But I love an open brief. That's because it's so powerful. It's like that's like the bread and butter client, like 70+ year relationship. Good ideas can come from anywhere. We got to get them all.
Yeah,
no stone unturned.
I want to ask about because there's the second part. We teased it earlier. A little flair for the dramatic there. But what's the second part of the campaign? People can get involved, right?
Yeah, it's the open call. So there's going to be a lot more work from Dove to come. And first is it's the largest kind of like open call casting call for real women from Dove. So anybody who submits a photo gets to be a part of the campaign. And I don't want to give anything away, but those photos will then be preserved in a really nice way to celebrate individuality forever, pushing back against the algorithm that's threatening to erase our individuality.
Yeah, and as we were working on this idea, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just advertising. So we wanted to have an answer to this problem and not just present the problem, but also present a solution to it. So that's part of the open call where you can directly fight the algorithm and the sea of sameness by submitting your photo to cherish your unique beauty and get that individuality that is what real beauty is across.
I love that.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, excited for that. Geno, anything else from you?
No, I think you guys did a great job. Everybody did a great job in this interview.
Yeah, everyone did great. Yes,
everybody did a great job.
In the scheme of this interview, I would love to hear both of your opinions. How would you rate that interview? Do you think it went well?
10 out of 10.
Okay.
Great.
And I do want to say, shout out for anyone who's in Germany. Our vending machine, our beauty machine will be there next.
Oh, it's going on the road. It's a road show.
Let's get in the office.
Last question. Is there a reason why Waterloo, or is this just like a logistics thing that is not as thought about?
Does it reveal the magic?
Yeah, I know. You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, we wanted a high traffic area so that people had time to interact with it. And then another component that we needed for the activation was making sure that we had a solid out-of-home media space behind the machine, because day one, it was an unbranded installation where the machine just came to life. And then day two was our answer and our branded response to the machine and the algorithm itself. And so we needed both high traffic area and also the big spectacular out of home to help communicate our solution.
Love that.
It's like completely unexpected, really, because if you were to see this machine up close, it's pretty dystopian. It's like, a sea of faces that are really hyper real with these awesome mask designers to make them. So there's like skin and you're at like a lo-fi train station, so you just wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, it feels like a Black Mirror. It feels like it might be you could see people thinking it's like a Black Mirror trailer. But I think that's a good point to bring up too, because Grand Central, now it's expected. People are expecting to see some sort of thing or experiential situation. To do it somewhere where you wouldn't expect it. Like, can you imagine if they did it at the Bowery J stop in New York?
That'd be interesting.
I would be like, we're under attack. But no, it's fantastic. Congratulations to you both again. Congrats to the whole Ogilvy team. Excited to see the next thing that comes out from Dove and Ogilvy. And also, submit your face.
Submit your face.
Join the open call.
Join the open call. Thank you both so much.
Claire, Olivia, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Great stuff.
I like when we get the folks that worked on it, Jack. They can speak directly to it.
Yes, like knowing everything single part. You know how much work goes into that. Every single little thing.
Great stuff for them.
Great stuff to ACDs at Ogilvy.
I was gonna say there's a couple episodes in Game of Thrones where they have like these masks, and like that's like a subplot line in there. Reminded me of that as well.
Maybe people might think it's like a trailer for that. I will say the Dove Real Beauty sketches video, automatic cry, automatic tears every time I watch it. Yeah. Every time I watch it, it's automatic.
I said it was the best platform
Best
Did I say
brand
that?
platform of the 21st century.
What else would be on there, Ross?
It's something that was made in the 21st century. Anything else, Ross, that comes to mind?
So far, platform-wise?
It's hard to think of one. I guess
Yeah,
it's
we'll
hard
come back. Maybe we'll follow up next show. If we have any updates.
Ross said keep thinking. He's already
wow.
early.
Wow.
It's a recency
I mean,
bias,
I mean,
potentially.
Real Beauty is over that right now for sure.
Yeah,
But it's up there.
the consistency and
Is there
the
a new
duration.
Apple? Is there a new Apple that launched in this century? Any Apple campaigns?
No, well, I don't think they changed like the platform. It's like you could say just do it, but just do it's been around.
Oh, yeah.
It was made way before the 21st
yeah.
century.
For sure.
So I wouldn't count that.
You wouldn't count that.
I
Let
wouldn't
us know in the
count
comments if we're missing
Yeah,
anything.
with best brand platform to be created in the 21st century. You gotta be thinking about something that came out early in the 2000s, I would say. When was the
Are
first
you
time?
looking at longevity? I mean,
I think that factors into
Okay.
it. Association.
Okay.
Let's talk about like,
I would do creative and
what
longevity.
about Skittles? What's the Skittles one? Taste the
Taste the
Rainbow?
Rainbow. When did that launch? I'll look that up.
That might be in the 2000s.
That might be.
Snickers.
You're
We got
not
one
you.
from JR over
Nice
there.
one, JR. Taste the Rainbow.
From the Woodworks, JR just yelled Snickers.
1994.
Oh, okay.
What was?
Taste the Rainbow was 1994.
And You're Not You When You're
You're
Hungry.
Not You When You're Hungry is pretty solid.
Did you remember the one with Betty White where she gets tackled?
So easy a caveman could do it. I don't know if that's a platform. You're Not You When You're Hungry. 2010? Looks like, yeah. 2010 for Snickers, You're Not You When You're Hungry.
That's up there too.
That's up there too. Have a break, KitKat.
KitKat.
Recently.
I'm over the KitKat right now.
Recap of the show. We only did one glaze. I think.
That's
I think
crazy.
I think we snuck in about 7 there for the Ogilvy crew.
Yeah.
Well-deserved glazes though.
Yeah, gotta love it.
But only one official glaze.
I'm sticking with my take there that the Real Beauty is the best platform of the 21st century for now.
This is SportsCenter.
This is Breaking Entering Media. If you're not following us, please do so. We go live Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 11 a.m. Eastern times when we kick these things off.
Yep. We're on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube, X. I would suggest subscribing to the YouTube.
Yeah, how
And
do you
then-
do this?
Yeah, I
How
think
would
you
you
can
do
turn
this?
on post notifications for LinkedIn, and then on YouTube, I would subscribe. What we figured out today is the scheduling component. So you'll get notified when we're live on if you go into our YouTube.
The YouTubes.
So go check that out. That'd be the best way to do it. But what an episode, Geno. We talked about the YouTube Riz Party. We talked with Tameka Bazile, who is a B2B social legend, if you missed it. Chad Waetzig, talking about protein vapes and Crunch Fitness and the gym situation. And then Claire Golladay and Olivia Simone, who are 2 ACDs at Ogilvy that worked on the most recent, quote, new era of Dove Real Beauty. It gets the people going. So if you missed it, this will be on YouTube forever. It'll be on Apple and Spotify, uploaded this afternoon. And that's pretty much it, Geno.
It's Wednesday. That means we'll see you again tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow, Breaking and Entering Media, the marketing news show that you deserve.
You deserve. I like
New
that.
tagline.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
You deserve it.
New best brand platform. Love it. Cool.
All right, great.
All right.
All right.